Welcome to Self-Love for Superwomen with Love Now Media. I'm your host, Tonya Ladipo. So often as women, we are told to say yes, and we say yes a lot. Shonda Rhimes even wrote an incredible book about the year of saying yes, that we often overlook all of the times when we perhaps need to be saying no. And so I'm so grateful to have Dr. Monica Campbell with us.
Thank you.
Welcome. To talk about women and the challenges that we have in saying no. So I'm curious, Monica, what is it about us as superwomen? What is it for us as women that we're always saying yes to people and really struggling to tell other people no?
I think women are conditioned to take care of people, help out, be supportive. So we look at those things as, oh, that's what you're supposed to do as a woman. You just say yes, you help out where you can, you chip in. And as women of color, African American women specifically, I think that's been our role so often in family, in the work world. We just pick up and do the things often that other people don't do, so it gets done.
Yes.
So I think when we can have the opportunity to really think about if this is something that I actually want to do, is the thing that's being asked of me, does it meet my goals or help me move towards my vision? We should really consider that and not just go for the automatic, oh yes, I'll do it.
I love it. So really kind of the idea of slowing down and thinking about this request that's being made of me. Is it something that I want to do? Is it something that fits in with my plan for the day, my plan for the week, or even my plan for life? Like, is this something I actually want to do? And kind of pausing to take a moment and consider it before just jumping in and saying yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Why do you think women have trouble even pausing?
I think sometimes we think we're being mean if someone asks us to do something and we think, well, I kind of have the time or I kind of could do this. Okay, sure, yes. So I think, again, it's conditioned. We just help, we do. We don't think about if it's something that actually is meaningful or good for us.
Yeah.
So I think we just jump in, say yes, and keep going.
You know, that's a great point, I think, of if a lot of women, I've heard women say this before, that the idea of saying no feels really mean.
Yes.
They feel guilty about it, and it feels like they're being mean if they tell somebody else no. And so I think there is something in there about how can we actually tease out saying no from being mean? Like, is there a way to actually say no with kindness and without feeling guilty? Is there a way that we can actually do that?
Absolutely. I think it's just that, being kind. It doesn't have to be, oh no, I can't do that. It's, no, thank you, I'm not able to do that. Another thing that I really like to encourage women to think about saying is, let me think about it.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, let me think about that. Because then you have an opportunity to really think about it and decide, well, do I have the time, the resources? Does this line up with what I say I want to do with my time?
Yes.
If the answer is no, then you can come back in a very kind way and say, no, thank you. So let me think about it is a good bridge to no sometimes.
Yes. So that's a great self-love tip for women out there, that when somebody asks you to do something, first that you pause and think about if you want to do it, and in that pause, you give yourself even more time than moment and say, let me think about it, I'll get back to you tomorrow. I'll get back to you by the end of the day, so that you really can consider what you need. Because sometimes it can be really hard to say no in front of somebody who's asking you for something.
Yeah. And
so you really need to take that break to think about, do I want this? Let me get back to them, and then I can say no. And I love the point of like saying no with kindness. You don't have to be nasty about it, but you can just say, I don't have the time, I can't do it right now. So I think that's a wonderful tip.
Saying no is an act of self-love because it allows you to say yes to yourself.
Yes.
So when you say no to all those requests, can you be on this committee? Can you do this thing? Can you pick me up? Can you lend me money? Whatever it is, all those things take away from you and the things that would allow you to take care of yourself, whether it be exercise or eating right or spending time with friends. All of those things take time. So even people say, oh, I want to eat better. Well, that is, you may have to go grocery shopping. You have to spend time cooking the food. You have to meal plan and meal prep. So all of those things take time. So when we say no sometimes to things that aren't that important to us, we can say yes to ourselves and caring for ourselves in meaningful ways.
I love that. I always say that when you say no to one thing, then you can say yes to something that feeds your soul, something that really is going to move you and your life forward. And you're absolutely right. You know, there's only 24 hours in a day, so really, how can you be kind to yourself and spend your time doing the things that are most important to you? And so, if you're going to use your time well, then you are going to have to say no. And I have to find, you know, the older I get, the more responsibilities I have, the bigger my business grows, all of these things that happen as life continues, the more people ask of you.
Yes.
And so and this is one of the reasons I was excited to really have Dr. Monica on as a guest for this segment, because I think she's fantastic. She's a wonderful model of saying no and doing it in a way that's so kind. And so when I get inundated with all of these requests, being thoughtful of, if I say yes to this, what will it take away from my life? And is that acceptable to me? And I'm not in a place where I want to hurt myself. So loving myself is really being able to say, no, you know what? Right now, picking up my kids is really important to me, so I'm going to say I can't make that meeting. And if it's that important to the other person, we'll find another time, or we won't, and I will let that opportunity go. So let's talk a little bit about what are some of the consequences of not saying no. What do you think?
Burnout, fatigue, irritability, health consequences, you know, obesity, high blood pressure. These are things that plague women. So, you know, if we were able to say no to all these things in front of us, sometimes we might have time to exercise or meditate or get more sleep or spend time with supportive friends. So there can be some real health consequences. Women also suffer more with depression and anxiety. And I wonder if all the stuff that we take on, you know, is part of why we struggle in those ways. Not to blame folks for depression and anxiety, but just thinking that, you know, we're so used to saying yes, that can cause a lot of stress and lead to depression and anxiety.
I think those are really great points. And I also want to add to it how it impacts our relationships. So the negative impact on our relationships when we say yes to everybody and we don't say no is we get angry. We get resentful. We have an attitude because you're tired and you're doing for everybody else. And so then by the time you pick up your kids, you're snapping at them when all they want to do is talk to you because they haven't seen you all day. But you've spent the whole day running around for everybody else that when it comes time to do something that is important to you, you don't have the energy. And so to me, that's another piece that is so important of saying no, that it's self-love for me, but it's also self-love for my relationships and the people that I care about. That if I'm saying no in a way that aligns with my values, then I can be really present with my family. I can enjoy the time with my friends. I can enjoy the time with my husband as opposed to rushing through it or why do they want to talk to me now? And so I think really saying yes to yourself by saying no to things that really aren't important to you at this moment in time is an incredible act of self-love. Thank you for watching this episode. If you want to know more about the work that we do at the Ladipo Group, go to ladipogroup.com and also check us out on SOSforSuperwomen.com where we have a lot of other great tips for busy working professional women about how to really take good care of themselves. And if you want to see more episodes like this, along with a lot others, please check out lovenowmedia.com.